order. And we'll start by introductions, so we can begin our business, starting with Bill.
Bill Scriber, Port of Oswego.
Tom Schneider, board member.
Stan Delia, board member.
Diane Zeller, board member. Kim Macy, board member.
Connie Cosmeno, board member. And would the Duran start?
Sure. My wife Debbie and I'm Tom Duran, and we're here on the yacht club business.
Debbie Gadden, port employee.
Ed McMahon, port employee.
Bob Morgan, Vice President of the Board at H.C. White Maritime Museum.
Mercedes Neese, Executive Director, H.C. White Maritime Museum.
Kim Natoli, port employee.
Don Smith, board member of the Maritime Museum.
Thank you and welcome all. And our first piece of business is to entertain a motion to go into executive session, and that would be motion 02-12-2401. Do we have a motion for executive session?
Second.
For discussion of Hammer Mill property. Thank you. And can you second that? All in favor?
It's Allison, I'm sorry. For the motion, I'll just add in there to receive privileged advice and counsel from the port's attorneys.
Advice and counsel for the
That was
court from Port's attorney.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay with that?
And retain Young Summers for the process to take or to buy or to purchase the Hammermill property. I'll move it.
So Kit made the motion and Diane made the second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passes? All right. Next, we go to a special award announcement.
We made half tracks.
Do, Carl.
on the award.
Oh,
We made half tracks.
Let me, well, screen share, see you guys what we've all won.
What? A new card.
Not
That
yet.
phone,
I don't have the appraisal.
A trip to,
He put that aside to do this Hammer Mill.
Thank
So
you.
I'm supposed to give you
Thank
that at the end.
can I have my thing back?
no.
It's the second version.
Okay.
So, is the screen showing there, Bill, for you?
Yep. I see.
All right, so finally some good news tonight. This is in regards to the Central New York Agricultural Center project. Back in, which was August or September, we submitted this to the ACEC Council, which is the American Council of Engineering Consultants in New York State. The project was awarded a silver award designation. We found out about that unofficially around November, and then mid-January, we were given the official notice that the project was selected for a silver award designation. So Bill had asked me to let everybody on the board and as president of the meeting tonight know of the award designation. We can do a more formal session maybe as early as March or April. There's a plaque coming from the ACEC Council, and we'll also have this poster that was part of the award package finalized with the silver award designation on it, and framed to be hung in the boardroom or wherever in the port offices. So we can do that March or April timeframe. But now a great distinction for the project, for all the hard work that went into it, not only from contractors that built it, to the Bill and his staff, getting the funding for it and pushing the project from conception to reality. turned out very well and something that everybody should be proud of. So, wanted to share that with everybody, everyone give yourselves a round of applause, it's a great project.
No, it's great, thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Woo-hoo.
I'm sure you put work into the submission of the award application. Could you tell me again who the grantor is?
The grantor,
The American Council of,
the American Council of Engineering Consultants,
okay.
ACEC. Just a little background as far as I know. They have these awards every year. There's hundreds that get submitted, and there's all different categories. This was submitted under a transportation and multimodal project category. It looks at consultants that have performed the work on projects that are located in New York State. The projects can be outside of New York State if the firm at least worked on it, through an office within New York State. Projects, if you guys have interest, you can Google the ACEC Council, and they showcase some of the projects. They range in award categories from diamond to platinum to gold and silver. The higher project designations are usually really spectacular type projects, major construction milestones or rehabilitations of significant structures or features in the state, or again that firms have worked on in state that may be out of state. So a lot of the major winners this year were of course Long Island, New York City, major building, major infrastructure that down there. So upstate gets its fair share of awards, but unfortunately they're usually more heavily weighted towards gold and silver. Occasionally there will be a higher designation in there, but nonetheless, just to be recognized as an award in itself. So
Great. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
To you and CNS also.
thank you.
You're
So
hired.
like I said, there'll be a plaque coming, there'll be a poster, and can do something more formal here in the coming months.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was important that Carl bring this out personally. He's worked very hard on this project along with Joe Nasdin. As you know, Fran remembers in Connie, $15 million, Tom, was like a year of my life with the governor to get that money flowed in here. So, but this is a noteworthy project. Not only is CNS being recognized, our project being recognized, and it's an upstate project being recognized. So, I mean, that's just another one of those, we have all those awards on the wall, but this is like an award that proves that we actually have been doing things over the last several years that are being noticed, not just in the lakes, but just statewide and really nationally, so.
Excellent.
Carl, that's it. Let's, board members have questions.
Yeah, if there's any questions, you got me here right now, Captain, so.
You're still at work, I see, unless that's a good screen.
No, I'm at work.
Yeah.
I'm looking out my door, the lights are off, so I might be the only one
Oh.
still here.
Maybe we better let you go.
No, if anybody's got questions on anything that we're involved with, just,
Oh, Carl, were you ever
Yeah.
actually able to do a cost estimate for that East First Street? Were you able to submit a request for?
I've got somebody working on it right now. I'll be connecting with Jeff Hinderleader later this week
Okay.
to go over that.
Did you get a copy of the minutes in the email?
I did not.
I'll forward those to you.
Appreciate that, Connie. Thanks, Carl. All right, thanks everyone. I'll
Thanks,
let you-
Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
Have a good dinner. Okay, good news, very good news. We have a good engineering firm.
Yep. And we did bid them, so they are our in-house engineer.
Excellent.
All right, and now on to a motion to approve the minutes of the January meeting.
So moved.
Second?
Diane, Kit,
Yep.
any questions or discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Sustained? Passed. Our administrative operational report, which is Exhibit B.
Okay, I'll make this brief because we've had a long meeting already. The West Pier reconstruction bid award is in your package tonight. I'll address it then. I just have submitted last month the container mover from the grant we received for the American Marine Highway Program. As you know, we were designated in 2019 as part of the Marine Highway, the only one on Lake Ontario, one of only two in the Great Lakes. So that will, you'll see that probably in May. Ballast water treatment, I just attached some information on that, that Fran can talk about if he wishes. The Port Oswego City Advisory Committee meeting, the county's talking about, probably will be in your report.
It will.
So, I won't mention that. I have right now a appraisal going on for the US Border Patrol property. It's not finished because I had to take them off that and throw them on Hammer Mill, but I should have both by the end of the week. So, I'll bring that to the board at next meeting. Aluminum, we have tomorrow, we have a test of the large ingots, that aluminum ingots that will be running up to the plant, that will be coming to us from a newly designed mill in the south, up to us, and then we'll transload to the plant. Second to third quarter of next year, July or August, is when the full production will start coming up to us on rail. There'll be about 600 rail cars, 3,000 ingots. So we're running that test tomorrow with 3 rail cars, loading them. They'll go somewhere for about 18 days, and then they'll come back, we'll unload them and put them on trucks and send them up to Novellis. So that's a new project we have, and that 55,000 pound forklift we have is crucial and instrumental in that because we need it to actually do it. Tom, you can talk about, if you don't mind, the
Well,
Milwaukee trip.
I want to be, I'd like to maybe do some of it coming to the end because there's some
Okay.
customer privacy issues and I certainly don't want to throw off the customer in public session if they're
Right.
not
Yeah.
ready for that. But, you know, Bill did, talking about traveling to Milwaukee to visit a potential new customer on the grain side, and I could just take them with me, I think, or usually use it with some company along. But I will say this, at this point between, you know, the connectivity with the St. Lawrence Seaways, you know, really the gentleman by the name of,
Peter Heiss.
and then we sort of, yeah, Peter Heiss. And who's the gentleman
Adam.
that joined us? More,
Adam Schenelik.
Yeah, it was with Secretary Buttigieg's office. You know, them going out of their way, you know, again, was in charge of economic development for the St. Lawrence Seaway, works, you know, from the Department of Transportation, a direct report of the Secretary of the Department of Transportation, that is, had dinner with us. a lot of breadth that the port has amongst these groups. As a matter of fact, Peter picked us up, took us to the meeting, created the introduction to the new client. I'd like to talk about the new client a little bit more, potential client a little bit more later, because I want to protect existing customers and potential new customers' privacy until we have some more to talk about. But we were met with the president of the company. It's a family company. There were probably 6 people in the room. We didn't know if we were going to be there for an hour. We ended up there 2.5 hours, and then lunch afterwards. They're coming here to see the facility. They've recently purchased some facilities within, I'll get into more specifically, within New York. And Bill had a nice marketing piece on the grain, the agricultural center. But then, being able to go up, they had the technology in their boardroom on a very large screen to go up on Google Earth and really show the whole scope and capacity of the port, the grain mill current and the rail connectivity, where the rail connectivity goes out, because the rail is very important to them. And a number of questions that Bill followed up on that led to them looking to visit us around February 20th.
Should they deal with somebody now?
This would be, they deal with a lot. They're probably,
So they're expanding maybe?
The bulk of their business is containerization.
Oh.
So it goes truck to, ship out on the East Coast. It may be one of the largest, grain exporters in the country in terms of trailer bound. They're looking at bulk shipments in the lake. They're also looking at excess storage, the capacity facility. They're vertically integrated in that they're both growers and brokers and buyers and sellers. You can tell by their bullpen or their floor that there are people there and on very sophisticated systems looking at trading, inventory, volumes. They really know what they're doing. They could add a lot of expertise to our agricultural sector.
So Tom, if they replace Anderson with the silo,
Mm-hmm.
How does that-
I don't really want to discuss that. We'll go in exec session at the end
Oh,
if we can, please, because we're at a confidential negotiation stage.
oh, I was
That's
just
why,
wondering.
I don't want to talk customer names until. But I will get into that in detail.
Okay.
I'll edit it at the end.
Okay.
I'll come back, but I will say this in open public session. I thought Bill represented us very, very well in his ability to, you had a table full of people whose questions I couldn't answer, and from everything from rail grades to scales to manufacturer of the silo, which they use the same manufacturer in most of their silos, so they're very familiar with the equipment, and the trenches and the circulation, temperature controls, the rail shipping, trucking. Bill answered their questions. There are a few open questions that we had to get back to them on specifically, but they were very interested, and I thought that we as a court were very well represented.
And they had a touchscreen
Okay.
monitor that I really liked.
Well, first he started touching it to point things out and threw things off. And then once he realized that he could expand it and roll it and show him where the rail came in and everything.
I had fun with that.
It was,
Don't touch.
did add significantly to our ability to show the scope of the port facilities, because I could see them gaining interest as.
So why do you think they're so
Overseas,
interested?
definitely.
Because of our location, where we are?
Yeah, I think they're interested in New York, they're interested in expansion. I saw the president looking at, farm fields around, the region all the way up north. So, yeah, no, they're in New York, and they're the third generation who is really young, vibrant, and looking to expand on the first two generations ago.
And I think it impressed when we flew there, sat at their table.
Yeah, their home office was an hour outside of Milwaukee in a town of 2,000.
You know,
They own the town.
Oh, yeah.
And I am gonna have, one of the challenges is they took us to the diner, the local diner next to them was supposed to be the best pies and the best apple pie. So I put a challenge to them, I said, my wife actually makes the best apple pie. So when you come here, there'll be an apple pie. Well, first, we're gonna have apple pie, and we'll have the tour.
But it was very positive, and it was also a good, positive relationship that Bill has with the Great Lakes Authority through the Department of Transportation, because two gentlemen and another woman on their staff went out of their way and took the time to be there for us and be with us and dine with us. Yeah.
Are we competing with other ports for their business?
I don't, I think this is sort of it would be a unique complementary piece to their business that has advantages for shipments along the St. Lawrence Seaway, particularly as it comes to tolling on the US side versus the Canadian side. And I think it's strategically located for where they're looking to expand some of their business for the purposes of storage and shipping. It's a commodity, and in the handling of the commodity, you want it handled well, and you want it to be multimodal modes of transportation of the commodity. And I think we're well positioned for them, and they took the meeting because they recognize that. And when they brought in a room full of people, including the president of the company who took meticulous notes, they seem to be very serious
Good
about
signal,
working with us. Yeah, as well as coming up to visit.
If we could just have.
When are they coming?
The 20th. We're flying in the 19th. Can we have just a short executive to discuss the more confidential matters? Because this is an active negotiation on their part and our part, and those are items that should not be in public. So, we are a business. So I don't want to tell our, business secrets out.
I have to be here at 7.
But I appreciated the opportunity to go and learn what it's like.
And they were impressed that a board member came to be very frank with you. That proved a lot to them, that a board member would fly there and come.
I think that one of the other items on here was relative to the ballast water treatment and a report that you sent out. And I know Stan had some questions. I don't know whether you want to address those now or how to.
I spoke with Fran a couple days ago,
Okay.
Sunday. And I just had some basic questions.
No, I thought that was very well, but I'm.
Yeah.
First off, they're trying to rush us into something that timetable wise, I don't think we're ready to move forward. I mean, we need to look at, have CS engineers or whoever else look at the feasibility of such a project to do this. And, you know, one of the things I was thinking of, I mean, the nature of this ballast system and how it works. I initially thought that perhaps we could get business from other ships going to other places, but the ballast system works when you unload, that's when you put the water in. So, correct me if I'm wrong, in Fran too. This would only be a system that our customers use, that stop in the port to drop off cargo. Anybody know that?
What this is, it's about invasive species.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
whole thing's
Know
about.
that, yeah.
And so it's about other ships they may go someplace and they may offload cargo and then they have to pick up ballast water. And this ballast water may contain invasive species that they can't transport or discharge really out of their holds until it goes through a pasteurization process. And that's to, it's really to help the spread of any of these harmful species of fish or whatever that seem to go not only through from one Great Lake to the other, but it may also come from overseas, like the zebra mussels came from Europe with cold water stuff and just by dumping this, so that's what this process is about. It's a solid, idea. It's being backed by a lot of the governments. We would be the first one in the Great Lakes if we had, to take something like this on. But there's a lot more that has to be figured out. I didn't like some of the things I read about, how is this going to be paid for? We got to talk with ILA, who's going to man this facility, who's going to train the people, who's paying for this. There's a lot of questions like that. Even the splits of the profits did not seem too favorable. So the initial proposal, the idea is good for the environment, but like I was talking to Stan, I think we got a lot of questions that have to be answered before we sign anything on a dotted line. And for sure there would be some sort of a trial period. There's no way that at this point would be looked 20 year out or anything on that idea.
This was all just, in my part, an FYI. IMO and EPA and US Coast Guard has not set a standard yet. They're now in discussions, EPA, on setting a standard. We're also under IMO, International Maritime Organization. They set standards. You got US Coast Guard, they will do a standard. You have EPA, which may override Coast Guard, they're gonna set a standard. Then we have New York State DEC, which believe they overrule everybody else. And believe me, they do, because it's been a year to get West Pier out to bid because of all their reviews. So this is just one of many, but at some point in time, maybe the next 3 to 4 years, you're gonna be faced with a regulation. The lakes will be a regulation from EPA. They're actively talking about, I didn't want this, Fran didn't want this, I didn't want this, comes as a shock to you that there's a discussion right now. This may be just one company, this was only used as an informational piece of what is gonna be a system. But Fran's right, invasive species in Lake Ontario is very important because honestly, we feed the other lakes. So it's gonna be an emphasis for us in the next few years on ballast water treatment. In fact, Jonathan Daniels, when he was here.
And this may be a mandated thing, this ballast water treatment. And when we heard about this at the, at the H2O conference, You know, the thought is let's do a lot of the groundwork on this now. And we may get a leg up on, any other port on the Great Lakes. And, because we'd be ready for this, to pull the trigger. And so anyhow, that's what this is about.
Is there possibly any environmental grant money out of there out of the federal government to initiate something?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Always.
all the,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And this is one of those things that if they get towards really serious rulemaking at EPA, then they'll be putting out a grant for it, or grants. So that's when we should look at studying this or doing something in the sense that you never get a program up without a study. And I mean, it's just the way it is. So we would probably at that point in time apply for EPA study money, have a study done here, and then, you know, we'd be ahead of most other ports. But you'd at least be aware of it as, you know, grants go out in a month and you gotta have them applied for in like 60 days, so, you know, at least you're aware of it.
Good idea.
So are we ready to move on, ladies and gents?
We have the finance
Please.
report.
To the financial report. That means, Tom, you're on again. How about you?
Well, it's, you know, it's the profit and loss statement for the end of January 31st, 2024. And January is, you know, a slow month, and you can see that reflected graphically, and you know,
Yeah.
it's affected on C1. You know, our fiscal year end is March 31st. We just hadn't had during the course of the summer some of the, you know, major projects that frankly, you know, the third-party firm, that we use, Movavi, that helps sell it into, you know, into your pocket.
Oh, logistic, yes.
Yeah, some of the large-scale projects that we had the prior year. So it's a tough compare to prior year. It's an okay compare to the budget. You know, on a net ordinary income, which is really the most important line, because it excludes all of the grant type activity. You know, we're just 10% off of budget with a couple of months to go, but it's why it's important, I think, that you know, we take a very active stand on trying to you know, secure the maximization of the agricultural center, and clearly all of this aluminum traffic that we see will ultimately reflect itself in the P&L. So I look for better numbers to come, but these all, again, the numbers correlate with the type of activity that we've been seeing, and yet not yet reflecting all of the aluminum transactions.
We have, you know, delays in DEC money coming in that we've expended out for grants. Most of this is grant income that we're expecting in.
On the
Yeah.
on the other income side.
Yes, yes. So, I mean, if you look at this, then, yeah, but when that gets through the system, you'll see
Yeah.
the push
Yeah.
towards March.
Yeah, I was just up at net ordinary income, where,
Yeah, I
you
see.
know, we're just, 31,000, it's not,
Yeah.
not a big deal. We're ahead, but,
We'll just shake the couch.
I mean, the bottom line is that our current assets are above the current liabilities.
yeah, total asset
Yeah.
ratio is
It's pretty good.
is very good.
It's
Our
average.
payables are fine. There's one, that's 33, 90 days, I think, with the railroad bill, and we do have a receivable that, has been hard to track down, it's not that big yet, but the overall cash position, while lower than last year was as strong as I've ever seen it, so it still remains strong. You're right, the current asset ratio is very strong, and that's primarily driven by the retained earnings of the organization.
and Tom just made that point, Debbie, I think that the 2022 season was our largest revenue ever booked by the port. I mean, it's pretty, we'll probably do it in 2025, but yeah, that was, it was a record that you're placing, you know, a 10-foot jump, and then we've always done a 6-foot jump,
It's a
so.
tough annual compare because the prior year was so well.
And I think one of the other things is, obviously, we want to earn money for the port itself,
Yes.
but the value that we're giving out some of our customers, like Novella, you know, they're saving money by going through us. And that's basically our mission statement, to
Yeah.
promote commerce.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. And that reflected itself very favorably in the economic impact study that was done by the St. Lawrence Seaway Association, which they're very familiar with the Port of Oswego and with Bill.
And I think either Kitty or Connie can comment on what the engineer said about the city's sales tax revenues, why it increased in that 1 year.
The city engineer said that while the, Kitty wasn't, oh yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
She was
I was there.
Duh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The city engineer commented, well, I'll be reporting on this, but our meeting with the city on East First Street, he is highly favorable, strongly favorable for the redesign. And he said to the group that the sales taxes that were collected from folks who use services in the city that were part of that project was noticeable.
Right, it's a lot of money coming.
Noticeable. So, yes, they understand that there is an impact financially. All right.
So I'll move them for a second and see if anyone has any questions from myself, Bill, or Debbie.
For A and B, right, John?
Or, yes,
C1 and 2?
or C1 and C2, motion,
John,
02.
do we have a second?
1, 2 is going.
Did Diane say second?
I'll second it.
Or did Kit? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. And,
Any comments? All in favor?
no,
Opposed?
I agree.
Passed. Chairman's report?
Oh,
I got nothing right now.
Nothing to report out of audit and finance, outside of the business.
All right, I have two things. One is that I'm going to share with you the minutes from the committee meeting from, Bill, did you get this in your email?
No, I didn't.
Apparently,
No.
I'm thinking that,
No, I didn't.
No.
Pat,
didn't, isn't
did
it?
you didn't get them? Pat, did you get these? So let me
No,
explain
I
to you. Our first meeting was scheduled for February 2nd, which was a Friday, or no, it was another Monday.
It was a
What
second.
happened is that the mayor gave me, Fran and I have been talking by phone. The mayor gave me 3 dates. Checked with Kim, and so we set the meeting up. One of those dates worked for the mayor's names that he gave me and the mayor and us. And that was, I think, a Friday morning, or Monday morning.
Monday morning.
And that morning, I guess the alderman did not know about the meeting, so we had to postpone the meeting. Unfortunately, it was a snag in communication. I assume the mayor gave me names of people that he had checked with that were available. So I figured these 3 dates were good for his people. Well, apparently they weren't. So the mayor and I texted a few times, and I suggested that we let his secretary and Kim, our Kim, get their heads together, and they had this figured out in a few hours.
Pick a date.
And they got a date and time. So our date and time was February 5th, and the attendance is there for you. And this was an extremely positive meeting. And basically, Jeff Hinderleader had some engineering designs prepared to propose to us a revamp of the East First Street by removing most of the island and inserting a raised crosswalk for the safety of everybody, yeah. DPW is not quite so happy because of plowing, but, and Carl worked with, Jeff and Carl were substantially important for this meeting. And the mayor supports the project. The one thing that we're waiting for, when I asked Carl tonight, is that we need a cost estimate. The mayor was going to bring this topic up in the new design that the city engineer proposed with committee the night of February 5th. He was going to talk to the councilors and explain it to them. And then we're waiting for this cost analysis to come back from the state. It's an app that CNS Engineers has with the state. And so the mayor will propose a resolution once they have some cost. And he's hopeful that that resolution will go to council perhaps by the
Annie,
28th.
I just want to interrupt, I've also talked to Robert, and we want to be sure that we run this through the Broadwell group and let them know, I mean, full disclosure on this, so that they know what's going on and all this, before this is gonna go to council and discuss it. You know, we're good neighbors, we're neighbors with them, and I wanna keep it that way in the fact that it's full disclosure and they have a voice in this. So I thought that was important also.
It is, and it's in my notes from the meeting. I insisted on that one of the Broadwells be there so they understand that this is safety and aesthetics for the businesses on East First Street and the port to be able to continue business and so forth and so on. So we will have a meeting before the final resolution goes to vote. And also, if we don't get the resolution by then, I talked to the mayor about being able to use our PR firm to do an announcement so the public understands this is happening, as well as Micron. So, and that's where we are. So what I propose to folks is that our next meeting will be here, and we're going to have Kim and Dina set that meeting up when we get the information and are ready to go to that meeting. I am sorry, I thought everybody got a copy of these minutes. They were emailed to me. I will be sure that you get a copy of the minutes immediately. Okay. So, yeah, so the notice goes out for the meeting by email, and I'll be on top of that. So if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. And my second announcement is that on the 8th, Thursday, I went to Kevin Riley's office to meet with ILA to discuss the ILA pension fund. And basically, we do 2 meetings a year. We had this as a first, we're going to have 3 this year, but technically two meetings. And their pension fund took a big hit at the beginning of the year. I'm sure Tom can verify all that. But they're back on their feet, and they had a 13.91% profit, and they're up over $100,000 in their pay, and they're still waiting for 10 people to give their beneficiaries and their stuff, and they did 2 distributions last year for people who retired. And I finally got the final paperwork from Community Bank today, and I figured out how to send pictures of my license in the mail, so
Yay.
that's good. So basically, that's ongoing, so we'll have a meeting in June. We've done that. How about Kit, anything in planning and development? And John is not here for governance. Going on all business. So,
Bill, on this, related to Exhibit D and the yacht club, you just looking for authorization to sign, or do you have any challenge?
No, I have no challenge to it. It was brought out at the last meeting. They want, in order for the yacht club to put the docks in the water, they must have an entrance exit point. The only exit and entrance point would be off our property, over on the west side, and they would be responsible for constructing a concrete walkway with attaching to it. As you just read from the email, the permit, they do not own the property, the court does, and I have no authority to sign over property rights unless the board does the authorizations to me. So we actually have the property owner. So you would have to create the resolution as it is here for me to sign for them to gain access to their docks.
so the resolution is that the board authorizes the executive director to sign and complete any and all paperwork pertaining to the post-construction of the concrete ramp.
Yeah, I'll move that.
Tom, you got, thank you.
Second.
Stan, you said second?
Yes.
Any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed.
Thank you.
Sorry they had to wait so long.
No, sorry.
Bill, is there anything we need to do to?
Yeah, you gotta give me the original, do you have the original documents or a copy will do?
I thought I sent them to you, but I can get them to you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, that'll be fine.
Thanks.
Okay,
Yep.
good news, huh, Tom?
Yes, we're moving forward.
Here we go. With a paddle, not a motor.
Well, or a sail.
Sail.
Sail on a not so windy day.
Okay, our next item of business is to consider a motion to award W.D. Malone, the low bidder, for the Sewer Authority West Terminal repairs. Who wants to talk about that, Bill?
Yeah, well, this was part of the 2017 high water repairs when we lost the dock, basically over on the West Pier. There were, if you remember, a lot of other repairs that need to be done in engineering. This one got held up for basically a year because of DEC's insistence on, I don't know, a lot of stuff that was trivial. We actually had the exact same mitigation measures on the Lehigh dock that was built on schedule and under budget, but they wouldn't accept it for some reason on the other part of the dock about 600 feet away. We finally got DEC approval about 2 months ago. These were finalized, we set it to bid, and this is the lowest responsible bid for the pier. When completed, this will put the west dock back into commercial operation.
So there's not a whole lot of difference between Crane Hogan and Malone.
No, not a lot, but we are obligated in law to take the lowest bid qualified, and that's by, you'll see the one thing as a condition of the award is contingent upon the timely completion of the WMBE good faith efforts. We have as you saw 3 months ago, we are exceeding the MWBE efforts in the state. I said, Meg, Warrendorf is doing an excellent job there to make sure that we meet those requirements to exceed them. And this is part of the law, actually, New York State law, that we have to go through the process of ensuring that MWBE goals are achieved. Now, they did not achieve them, but we have to go to the governor's office and get a exemption on those goals. They did meet over 20% on WMB, Women Minority Business Enterprise, but on the Minority Business Enterprise, they were really not very, but that's common for upstate New York, is very common for Oswego County. So we think that the governor's office will give us the waiver so we can progress with the project, but we want to ensure that we don't get in trouble with the governor's office on these goals, so that we want to make sure it's contingent upon that waiver.
We try to reach those goals by advertising different venues.
Yes, we, as I said, we are exceeding the goals for the state. As Meg, and I should say Pam, who does the purchasing, strive always to purchase in those areas. And they do at times cost us more money, but we do go ahead and do that purchase so we meet the goals. On these major projects, this is when they really get very, very particular, so that we really push our contractors who are responsible to meet the goals with their subcontractors to get us all their good faith efforts. Because if you don't meet them, you may not get the money next time.
Anyone interested?
You are.
Yeah, I'll leave it,
Anybody interested in a second?
I'll take that second. Sorry.
I mean, see, that's
Are you an
basically
auctioneer or what?
recommending,
Yes,
Going once, going twice.
All right, discussion,
they give the whole bid analysis there.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Technically, according to Robert's Rules of Order, we should have the motion before we discuss.
yeah, you should have a motion and a second.
Before you, and the second before we discuss. So next time I'll make sure that happens. So we stay out of trouble, you never know.
Who is right?
You never know who's gonna be.
I got a little buck, but I don't know who he is.
Who's Robert? Who's?
Robert's rules of order.
No, I have to run a meeting once a month myself.
So, that's all, yeah, this is, so this is it. Did you want to go back into,
Just real quick.
all right, we need a motion then.
Can we finish from last time,
Yeah.
old business?
Yes,
So-
I'm sorry, Bob, yeah.
Because we were, in our last meeting, we were told it would be 2 days, that Mithka will take, the attorney will look at things and we'll get our signed document. It's now been a month. Fran and I have talked a number of times. He told me a week ago that it had come through, they agreed with the things that Tom wanted, and a signed paper was imminently coming to the museum. We don't have that yet. We brought one for Bill to sign today, but
No, you have one, the attorney sent it to your attorney. I don't remember, he discussed it.
We don't have an
Yes,
attorney.
he said
Using Ed.
Ed.
Yep, I know, but Ed's not an attorney, and we talked about that at our last meeting, that it needed to be sent to the museum. Ed is giving us some counsel, but he's not a practicing attorney right now, so he was supposed to send it to the museum. Ed hasn't contacted any of us that he's gotten anything.
So you don't have a copy of it?
We have
Mike said
nothing.
something about that
And,
he weighs-
you know, we got a bid to get the fuel off, a 3-day bid, talking to Pat and also to Fran. You were gonna try to get 2 others. Fran had informed me, well, the bid that I was able to get was significantly lower than they were expecting, so we don't have other bids. But that bid is good until the middle of March or something, so
So
you have to move forward in a relatively timely
Well,
fashion.
Said at the very end.
Can I say something here? It looked like Ed was acting like he was representing the museum, and so therefore Micah was responding to Ed, and Ed was responding to him. Ed wanted some changes.
Yeah, that's what I.
If that's, I don't know if the museum even knew about this, so I don't know what's up, because we were.
We were clear at the last meeting that they needed to come, to, you know, all we were looking was getting a paper sign.
But again, as Micah said, there was some kind of communication today from Ed.
Okay,
So-
well, we haven't seen
Friday.
anything.
Was it Friday, he said?
And he hasn't gotten to it.
Okay, so we need to follow up with Ed.
I'm
And,
sorry you're saying her so long.
But he is not our attorney.
we're not aware that this happened.
Yeah.
Take,
And just to,
take that back to your control.
and
Yeah.
you do know under state awarded money, you're going to have to follow state procurement rules.
Absolutely,
And
and
you will be
actually,
reporting if
yes.
it is MWBE. Are you set up for
Absolutely.
MWBE? Are you
And-
set
No,
up
you
for
said you were
MWBE?
gonna help us with that.
Yes.
I said I'd help you, I didn't say I'd report it for you.
No, we'll do all that, you know, we've
Okay.
done it before, but just
you
to be
done-
clear,
Have you
That-
got goals?
just to follow up on from the last meeting, the state will not allow us to do anything unless they've approved whatever it is we've set up, any kind of bid going out or anything. They have to have eyes on every bit of it. So, you know, they'll have their eyes on it, you guys can have your eyes on it. We cannot go out on our own and just do willy-nilly, you know, and interpret things the way we want. That is not gonna happen. This is a lot of money, it's a lot bigger than our budget, and so consequently, it's considered a high, I don't wanna say risk, but as a result of that, they plan to have everything. Even what Bob's talking about, we can't just do that. We have to go and say, okay, we're ready to do this, how do you want us to do it? Very, very,
We're very aware of that, Mercedes.
Right, I know
and
you are.
I have said that I would assist you and help you.
yep,
We do millions of dollars here a year.
Yes,
We
you
just
do.
put out a $4 million bid now.
right.
I've received, it's over $30.5 million in the last 5 years of state grants, so.
I know you
Our
have,
only
Bill, we
effort was
appreciate it.
to assist and help. There's many traps in all this. You say about
Yep.
bids, well, a certain amount of money, in state procurement law, you've gotta not just ask people, you actually gotta have a bid. You use state contract reporter, which I
Right.
don't, do you have an account?
No,
You're gonna need an account.
okay,
MWBE, it's requirement that you do that online, and you have to go out at a certain period of time, post it, and you have to have goals. Those are all things that I would be more than glad and my staff assist you with.
and we
But just
welcome
saying,
that.
we're gonna go get 3 bids.
We can't
to do
even
it.
Yeah,
do
we
that
can't
until we
do
get this
that.
other paper
Yeah.
signed.
So.
Well,
I
so
agree,
then
I
you have to
agree
have-
with you,
You have to have,
Hey,
they
listen,
have to have the
I wanna
account
jump-
before they can go forward, because we have to go to executive.
yeah.
Yeah,
So Bill will hold.
I don't wanna hold things up. And then, Bill, this is, after that document is signed, and of course, these are the original contract documents from the state and the covenant that started all this, I guess. They need to be signed and notarized. And I have to sign it and notarize, get it notarized as well. So I'll leave this with you.
Am I supposed to sign contracts now?
I don't know.
This is the original stuff that started all the conversation. This is the National Historic Landmark Preservation Covenant. This is the State of New York Master Contract for Grants. And that has a lot of the stuff you're talking about. These are all things that went to Micah, but it was a while ago.
Okay, well, did the board give me authorization?
We did.
Yes.
2 times ago, actually.
So,
well,
so look at those and then call Mike on the phone, be sure, all right, and get the
Because I
process.
don't wanna sign, that's why we brought the yacht club before. I really can't sign stuff without board authorization now.
We already approved you to sign those,
Yes.
but if those are the re-edited ones from Micah,
No, these are not Micah's. These are the original state ones that started the whole conversation
Kim, take
about
it,
our
would you please?
relationship. So,
Thank you.
and it's the Erie Canal folder, because I like to recycle. We have our own folders, but
But there was the one document outstanding
from Micah.
Those are the changes, yep.
Yeah, but then Ed had made.
And you added some more things, Tom, that,
Yeah.
So that's the one that
And
Ed got them?
Yeah, and you see that,
Okay,
And
sorry, we did not
Micah
know.
okayed
I talked to
it,
Ed last week, he
signed
didn't
it.
mention any of it.
That was the last
Like I
one.
Right,
said,
well,
he's
he's saying
mentioned,
Friday.
he's mentioned a lot of times to me,
Friday
he's not an attorney anymore, so.
Who, I got a question here, can I question it? Who, I mean, I'm a little confused right now. If we sent the document
Ed says he's not our attorney.
to Ed, is Ed the person that we're dealing with here, or Bob? Who are we dealing with the museum? Because we had a
You
document.
should
that
send
we
it
sent
to
out.
You
me.
should send it to MERS.
All right, because that's what's holding this up.
Yep.
Because if you approve that document, then we can move forward. We can sign that tonight if that's the case, because that is the document.
When you and I communicated, you said it was gonna be sent to the museum. a
Well,
week
that's what
ago.
he assumed.
So,
And
we'll
he
look,
thought it was our museum.
I didn't know. I only
Yeah,
deal through the council. That's who I deal with. period.
that's Fran's miscommunication.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I legally only, fiduciary responsibility in my position, I can only deal with the council direction and the attorney who receives it, that's it. I can't do other things.
And I'm sorry for that, for this delay, but.
Yeah, that's okay,
So we have a plan.
we have a plan. Send it to me. We'll send it to me
Because it
and I'll
was
get
sent
it.
out, there was some edits that were done by your last board meeting. I asked for 2 more edits to be done. They were apparently accepted, so I haven't got it back through that chain.
Well, can I, if we agree, I mean, right now, if the museum agrees on the changes that was sent out, then Bill could sign this thing tomorrow.
If I can see it,
Yeah, well, from Micah, it's the ones that we reviewed from Micah.
yeah, but the problem is Ed sent some revisions
Yes.
to Micah on Friday,
And I
what
haven't seen
Micah
it.
indicated earlier, and he hasn't even looked at it yet, so.
Right.
Yeah,
What I'm getting at, I don't think Ed is representing the museum, as I could hear it.
That,
I'll call it tonight.
That's something I gotta hear back from the museum, and whom we're dealing with. Is it through Ed, or is it through,
Mercedes.
Everything goes through MERS.
all right, so it goes through Mercer. So that's,
yeah.
we just gotta get that chain complete, and we can move forward.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry.
We'll call
Thank you.
In the
We're-
future, I'll deal just with you,
Yes,
period.
yeah. I usually know who to funnel it to or, whatever, so. Everybody's trying to be real helpful.
We'll
so.
get this straight.
Thank you.
So we
Appreciate
can't
it.
get it.
I got a full
I
ink
need
pen
a
right here, I
comb.
don't have a problem using it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night, I'm sorry.
All right, so we need to go into executive session for a short,
So moved.
Diane,
they don't,
at
Patent.
6:55.
Patent can certainly say if they want to, I just didn't want to necessarily talk about,
For the purpose of,
for the purpose of just discussing customer negotiations or.
customer